This past weekend marked the Munich Security Conference, considered to be the world's foremost gathering of security and foreign policy leaders. This year's event had some big names, and they certainly made news. Here's a look at some of the highlights.
Munich has become synonymous with security. That's important because, as I said last night, without security, nothing is really possible.
Located at the iconic Bayerischerhof Hotel in Munich, the Munich Security Conference is known for bringing together leaders from around the world. And the 2018 edition was no exception, especially with the shadow of President Trump looming over the event.
The U.S. commitment to NATO is very strong, and President Trump reiterated that during my visit to the White House some months ago. He also stated strongly that the U.S. is committed to NATO, not only in words, but also in deeds.
One topic discussed was ongoing negotiations for Great Britain to leave the European Union, with the British Prime Minister offering her take on why, despite that, a military relationship is still needed between Great Britain and the continent.
However, if the priority in the negotiations becomes avoiding any kind of new cooperation with a country outside the EU, then this political doctrine and ideology will have damaging real-world consequences for the security of all our people in the UK and the EU.
While neither President Trump or Defense Secretary James Mattis spoke at the event, National Intelligence Director Dan Coats did, speaking on the continued threat of the Islamic State.
It is an ideology and perhaps a theology, and the combination of ideology and theology, I think, outlasts defeats on the battlefield.
One key topic that saw debate was the Iran nuclear deal, with one of the architects, former Secretary of State John Kerry, strongly defending it.
It's absolutely critical for Europe, for the world, to make sure we hold on to this agreement, because to go backwards, we know what the world looks out without the Iran nuclear agreement. That's not a better place.
But the deal was also criticized by some, including the Saudi Arabian foreign minister.
The JCPOA has flaws that need to be fixed. We believe that the sunset provision needs to be eliminated. Iran cannot be allowed to have unlimited enrichment capabilities 8 years or so from today.
And perhaps one of the harshest critics was Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
The nuclear agreement with Iran has begun the countdown to an Iranian nuclear arsenal in little more than a decade. And the sanction relief that the deal provided has not moderated Iran. It's not made them more moderate internally, and it's not made them more moderate externally. In fact, it's unleashed a dangerous Iranian tiger in our region and beyond.
While at home, Netanyahu is facing a possible indictment on corruption charges. He embraced the spotlight at the Munich conference, especially when it came to a recent incident where an Iranian drone was shot down over Israel, leading to airstrikes in which an Israeli F-16 was also shot down.
Here's a piece of that Iranian drone, or what's left of it after we shot it down. I brought it here so you can see it for yourself. Mr. Zarif, do you recognize this? You should. It's yours. You can take back with you a message to the tyrants of Tehran. Do not test Israel's resolve.
But Iran's foreign minister, Mohammad Zarif, had a simple response during his remarks later in the event.
You were the audience for a cartoonish circus just this morning, which does not even deserve a dignity of a response.